Women as the downfall of humanity, I think this is complete and absolute BS. However, these are the narratives that we are perpetuating. These are the narratives that we're continuing to uphold and step into. Women are being shamed and blamed for these stories that began centuries ago that are still reliving themselves today. If you think of yourself as a plain white sheet of paper from a young age, as you grow up, you're told by parents, grandparents, churches, jobs, people who are around you, how you should act, how you should be, what you should do, and this piece of paper gets crinkled up into a tiny little ball. And now this little ball doesn't know who it is, what or what it should do. So this channel, and today I want to roll out this piece of paper so that you can start to understand who you are outside of everybody else's judgments, outside of everybody else's stories of who you are, where you can start to build this self-trust, this confidence, this ability to own and know that you can depend on your own decisions rather than outsourcing your decisions. So I want to flip the script on some of the stories that we're looking at that feed into this narrative that women are less than, that we're not as powerful, that we're the emotional gender, that we're second-class citizens. We are just as powerful as the male counterparts, and we need to see ourselves that way, or we're just perpetuating the cycle and the narrative for generations to come. So I want you to look at yourself and see you as this cultural architect for little girls and women who are around you to break this for generations to come. We get to liberate the next generation, not push away or push down the next generation. Women are the foundation of humanity. We're the heartbeat of humanity. We're very far from the downfall of humanity. We literally birth out creation, birth humans. There's no way that can be a second-class gender. So let's dive into some of the stories that for centuries have been keeping us down. Now there's many stories out there, but these are three that I think paint a really good picture of what we've been told. Now, as a side note and caveat, I want nothing more than for you to see your strength and your ability, understand what you're capable of, and step into that, step into this powerful version of who you are. That is independent, yes, but that doesn't mean that you have to be so independent that you're pushing everything else away. It means that you understand what you can do and you work with that. You're not this damsel in distress. You're not the learned helplessness that we've been fed through our entire lives. We're not helpless. We are very capable of doing incredible things. So you can be independent and you can be interdependent in a relationship. I have an incredible relationship with my husband and I support his strengths and I also support his opportunities, what he gets to work on, and vice versa. We're a match. You know, he gets to play into my strengths, and then when I have hard times, I get to lean on him. I get to be supported and vice versa. So really understanding that independence doesn't mean that you're pushing everybody else away. Independence can mean that you know exactly where your power is. You trust yourself, you have confidence, you know your worth, and you can be in relationship with other people. So we'll do more videos about this down the road, but I just wanted to put that as an asterisk to this. Let's look at the stories we've been told. The first one I want to touch on is Eve. Eve is the OG. I'm pretty sure almost everybody knows this story, that Eve is with Adam. She sees the fruit, she tempts Adam with the forbidden fruit, and whoa, all of a sudden, she is the downfall and humanity's problems. However, this is so far from what I believe is the truth, and I want to flip this on the head. So what if we look at Eve as the first woman who is curious, who wants to know more? She's the mother who ignited the desire for knowledge, for understanding, for curiosity. She is the pinnacle of where we've decided, hey, I want more. I want to know more. I want to grow. What if we're able to look at her that way? Do you see how different this is from the temptress who's the downfall of humanity to the igniter of knowledge and a desire to learn more, I think that's pretty amazing. Now, the second one is the Salem witch hunts, or witch hunts in general, because it happened all over. These women were hunted down because they were different, because they saw things in a different way. However, these women were also highly intuitive, connected to Earth's rhythms, understood the cycles of the moon, understood the cycles of the human, and was able to pass down ancient knowledge of herbal remedies, of herbal medicine. Yet they were a strength and a power that threatened the powers that be. So, of course, when you want to be almighty powerful, you try to squish out any competition, which I'm sure this has a lot of side stories into it, but I really want you to look at these women were highly connected to their intuition and passed down this ancient knowledge from woman to woman to woman to woman. Yet they were seen as these terrible witches because they were different, because they were in tune with everything around them. Now, the third story is one of the most classic stories. It's about Cleopatra. She was considered the temptress, the seductress, and that's how she made it to her political power. Yet her story has been so diminished to just her beauty. And if you peel back the layers, you see that she was an incredible diplomat. She was a leader. She understood the political landscape. She was courageous. At one time, she was exiled and came back to reign again. Do you know how much, especially in that time, for a woman to be able to rise up, come back, and regain her crown? Do you know how much strategy that took? Understanding the landscape, strength, and courage. She didn't become the power just because her beauty. She became this strength and power because of her mind and what she did. So let's remember the story that way. Women are the heartbeat of humanity. We nurture, we learn, we listen, we couple compassion with leadership. This is a superpower. Women shape cultures. We are community. Yes, men are there too. Yet women are the ones who gather in community, who share stories, who share knowledge, who pass it down to the next generation. And that's what we get to do, is pass this information down to the next generation of stepping into who you are and what you're capable of. Again, being that cultural architect and teaching little girls that they are worthy, that they can do and be whatever they want to be. Instead of just using this as words, we're showing them within action and as an example. So what I'd like you to do is, on a piece of paper, take the stories that aren't serving you, the stories that are keeping you small, whether they're limiting beliefs from what your parents have taught you, what your grandparents, church, all these different areas, these stories that aren't serving you. And step number 2 is, on that same piece of paper, if you want to divide it in the middle, is rewrite that story. What is true for you now? What are you stepping into? What is going to help you ignite yourself from being and playing small to playing bigger and knowing what you're capable of? So dive into this, drop it in the comments. Let me know what those stories are. Let me know what you're rewriting. Make sure to subscribe, because there's a lot more where this comes from. And in the description, there is a link. Please join our love letter, because that is where you're going to get all the updates and new drops like this.